Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good to see each and every one that is here. May y'all continue to bless us. You will make the right decisions. Y'all will definitely reward. And but you know, we have to be taught everything. That's the creatures we are. Y'all made us that way. Of all the other animals, you know, they learn quick. Mankind slow. And I always give that demonstration. Say, hey, you take a horse or a calf or a person, they birth one, 10 or 15 minutes, it's up running around. What you think humans be doing 10 or 15 minutes after they born?
They still doing that. Wait on somebody to feed it.
Right. Well, you can look at it either way you want, you know. We still slow. I mean, that's the comparison, you know. But you're right. We are way more complex. Okay? But yet still, we still take us the time to get up, see, and to do those things. Therefore, all these things are equal, and the point of it is that we are reliant, and we need help, and so we got to understand those things there. But for somehow we seem to get the wrong attitude, and as I said before, if we were not in a battle, it'll be all right. But unfortunately, you're in a battle that you can't win on your own. Also, we want to take this time to welcome in all our listeners, those that's in Israel, those that's in Canada, the Philippines, and where you might be picking us up on the internet. Enter into our house, where our motto is, come one, come all, let us build our future upon the foundation of peace and love. Shalom ve'ahava. And upon these two principles, when we learn how to live together, and I'm talking about mankind, okay? And when I say mankind, what I mean when I say mankind?
Men and women. Human being.
Okay, but also I mean the color, no color barrier.
Right.
Yeah.
Humanity.
Yeah, but I'm saying that specifically for that, and that's why I want you to understand when I say things and what I'm stressing. And I say mankind will have to learn to get together. White men, black men, gray men, red men, yellow men, green. We all going to have to learn how to get along.
That's right. We need to.
And if you don't learn that principle, you will not be a part of that kingdom for long.
That's right. There's going to be a lot of us.
For long. See? Therefore, I'm in for the long haul.
Yes, Lord. Yeah.
So, you know, they got some stocks that you can buy. You know, there's short term and then for the long haul. And so you have to just make up your mind. I'm in the kingdom for the long haul. See, and therefore, you make your decision as to what you want. Also, during this particular time, we greet each other with our greetings. May you be inscribed in the book of life for a good year. And the answer is same unto you. Therefore, we are reminding each other that we enter into this time of Teshuvah in the month of Elul, where we are all headed towards and facing. And so, as we explained last week, you know, y'all give us all these special things for us to to get ourselves prepared. See, more to them that don't, are not, and figure that they don't need them. Yah would not have given us all these things if we didn't need it.
Amen.
And I'm here to tell you, I clearly see how we need everything that He's given us.
Amen.
See,
Amen.
and He knew it. See, it's the enemy that want to deceive you and tell you that you don't need that. See? But we got to get smarter than that, there, folks. He's talking about a time of self-judgment. We got to get smarter than that. All righty. Israel, let's get our tally talks. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe. You have sanctified me by thy commandments and commandments concerning and wrapping ourselves in ZZ. These two is the security that God gave to help us. See? And, you should be near, we're going to ask the rest of this thing, you should be near some book at this particular time, or a piece of paper that have page 350 on it. Women are 19 and up, men are 19 and up, youth is 12 to 18, and all is all who can read. Yeah, also you can have it in your folder. Right. If you don't have that, the urgency to that you get it. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of Yah. Women,
calm my spirit, Yah. Stop the churning inside of me, caused by the rush of getting everyone fed and here on time. Quiet my confusion, Yah. In all the tension of getting here, I know I made the effort because I really do need you. Yah, speak to me in the quietness.
In his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name, for the Lord is good. Men, I am thankful, Yah, for what we have. But this week has been so hectic, and it seems that no matter how hard I work and how well I plan, there's always something I didn't plan on, and there isn't enough time to go around. Forgive me, Yah, for letting worry get in the way of my gratitude. You are good to us, Yah. We do have so much to praise you for. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord all lands. Serve Yah with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Youth, Yah is my shepherd, I shall not want. He made me to lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. All. Restore my soul, O Yah, and renew a right spirit within me. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones that you have broken may rejoice. Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me with your free spirit. Hallelujah. 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 I'm going to ask you to turn and face the holy city in this direction here for our opening tefillah, opening prayer, our Kohen Baraka, and the Shema in Hebrew.
And it's all in the folder just in case this is my mother.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed be you, Lord our God, King and ruler of the universe. Father, we come here today. Thank you for health and strength. Thank you for the knowledge of the Shabbat. Thank you for your wisdom and understanding that our body need rest and those things there, and that you have applied those things to it. We need a time to step away from this earthly things and the worldly things, and into your presence, and into the time that we might be revived, and that we might go forth and rest into the things that you have asked us to do on that end. Thank you for sending your son.
Thank you.
For the fact that he didn't faint, didn't give up on us, but went all the way, even through the shedding of his blood, that we might have an opportunity to enter into the glorious promise and plans that you have for those that love you and keep your commandments. We also offer special prayer for our brother that's in Israel. We ask that you would raise him up, heal his body up, and take care of the pain that he's having, that he too might be restored. And so we just ask that you would continue to watch over him, and not only that, but those that are sick among us here, we ask that you would give healing where it is needed, restore them back to good health, that we might be amongst your people that go forth short for your saving help. We pray for the peace of Jerusalem, that you bless her and prosper her, keep our leaders strong, keep our sisters and brothers safe there, as well as us safe here. Bless my mouth, bless our ears, those things that you said, be what you want me to say, that we may add to our knowledge, and be not amongst your people that perish for lack of knowledge, not knowing what you're doing in these last days. Bless as we go further in this service. All these blessings I ask in thy son's name, Yeshua HaMashiach, the man whose name is the branch. Amen.
Amen.
At this particular time, you should be near a Bible, preferably the complete Bible, for our Kohen Baraka, which is found on page 153, which is Numbers, the 6th chapter. I will read the 23rd verse, then you can read a quote the 24 through the 27 together. Speak to Aaron and his sons, and tell them that this is how you are to bless the people of Israel. You are to say unto them all together, Yivareka Adonai V'yish Baraka. May Adonai bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai V'ra Elech Avidu V'necha. May Adonai make his face shine on you and show you his favor. Yisra Adonai V'ra Elech Avidu Shalom. May Adonai lift up his face toward you and give you peace. In this way, they are to put my name on the people of Israel, so that I will bless them. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay. Ask you now to join in with the Shema, the Hebrew. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Yevod, Malachuto, Leolam, Now, if you get your Bibles and turn to page 204 in the complete, which is Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter, 4 through the 9th verse, we will be reading. The first two verses, 4 and 5, is what we said in the Ivrit of the Hebrew. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear Israel, Adonai God, Adonai is one, and you are to love Adonai your God with all your heart, all your being, and all your resources. These words which I am offering you today are to be on your heart, and and you will teach you carefully to your children. You will talk about them when you sit at home, when you are traveling on the road, or when you lie down, and when you get up. Tie them on your hand as a sign. Put them at the front of the headband around your forehead, and write them on the doorframes of your house and on your gates. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I also ask you to go to page 1279 in the complete, which is Mark, the 12th chapter, 28th to the 31st verse, and see what the Mashiach had to say concerning the same subject. One of the Torah teachers came up and heard him engaged in this discussion. Seeing that Yeshua answered them well, he asked him,
Which is the most important of them all?
Yeshua answered, the most important is Shema Israel, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And you are to love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your understanding, and with all your strength. The second is this: you are to love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other mitzvah greater than these. Hallelujah! 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 Okay, you should turn around. You should be able to receive your song. If this will take a time, if not, she will issue it out to you. And this will be our theme song until our 40 days is up. Which is rend your hearts and not your garments. And this is always, all these things are to prime us to understand what time we're at and what we should be doing, what's important for me. See, and that's the attitude you're going to have.
Amen.
See? And if you don't get it like that, it ain't going to work.
Amen.
Signs of wonder, miracles. But he will say, did I not speak through the prophets of my son? Repentance is required of man. Take them all away. Bring my heart and mind is up. Turn it unto the Lord. He will soon make me excited. The empire is close. Bring your heart and cry, wow. Let the voice of the earth all around the land. He said, they are those who wonder why God don't hear a cry. You don't have to see my Father who is on my lips. The scripture is so simple, we follow and obey. The kingdom is inside His blood, and we beyond His way. My heart is not your God. Turn it unto the Lord. The Lord will make me excited. But the empire is close. With your heart and cry, wow.
One of the things that certainly is true, we got to get it done. We got to do it. Okay? I can't do this and I can't do that. There, hey, you're going to have to get it done, there, folks. Okay? And if you think that you can't get it done, you think you can't do it, you already defeated in the beginning.
Right.
You ain't got a chance. Okay? But therefore, we can get it done because Yah has set it forth and laid it out that where we can, but it's going to have to be His way, not ours. The enemy has come along, see, and told you and told us we can do it another way. And he's right, you can do it another way, but it won't be the end results that you want. See? It won't be the end results that you want. See? You can get rich quick by going robbing a bank. Right?
Right.
You can get rich quick. You know.
Just for a little while. Right.
Well, you might not even get out of the bank. See, but all the rest that go along with it, see? So, you know, you got to be wiser than that there, you know. So there's a lot of ways to do stuff, you know, with the risk factor and enjoying it and everything. That's another thing altogether. See? And therefore, we've got to be very mature about things and coming to growing up and learning. You know. We can come through things in our minds, but it don't always have to be that way. See? And therefore, especially the one who created us. See? And He has a name. And dear folks, you're not going to get eternal life everywhere and anywhere. You can only get it where it's available at. See? And there's only one place that it's available at. See? We go to Psalms 68:4. And there's requirements for everything. See? We was talking about that last night when we was talking about that. If it sounds too good and everything, then you better be kind of leery about it. See? I remember my brother that they got him good on that because of the fact that, see, when you get to, you just set yourself up. When you think that you really getting up on somebody, you just set yourself up big time. Guy come along, boy, and had a big old bag of money. See, and he told my brother, he said, hey, I need some change for so and so and so and so. You got to tell me. And ain't got no money because I got money, you know, but I just got this bigger, and I need some smaller change, you know, and everything, you know, so I can do this and everything. So if you can just let me have have songs on it, and I'll come right back and pay it back to you. You know? So who gonna go for that? Ain't nobody gonna go for nothing like that. You know, you ain't man. You ain't walking off on my money. He said, I tell you what, you can hold my bag of money here. You can hold this. You know I ain't gonna leave that money there. You know I'm coming back and get that money. So he said, hey, I'll just let you have this. If you do that for me and let me have so and so and so and so, so I can run and pay this guy off, pay this guy out here and everything, you know? Because he don't want to say he ain't got no money, he ain't got nothing to break no big bills and everything, you know? So if you just do that there and everything, and then, so boy, everything, he saw all the big bills in there and all that, he said, and this guy said, I'll give you this young, you know? And so he started thinking about it and dropped his head and said, well, okay, yeah. He said, I'll be right back, man. He said, and here's the bag. See, put it in your trunk there now. Make sure that nobody come get it for you. Because, man, hey, I'm coming back to get my money. Y'all know he's still looking for that guy. He's still waiting for that guy. He waited there. He said, if I don't come back in 5 minutes, it's yours. He waited. First he's mad, you know, because the guy ain't come back. Then he started thinking about it. He said, hey, I hope you don't come back now. He's getting on down 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. He said, I hope you don't come back now. He said, because, hey, if you come back now, I'm telling you, you said 5 minutes, 5 minutes is up, so he's watching the clock and everything. Watching the clock and everything, girl. When the 5 minutes is up and everything, yeah, I'm going to give him a little bit more. Give him an extra minute or two. Went back there, get that bag out, thought he was going to be walking home with a big old bag of money. He had a big old bag of cut up newspaper.
So he didn't look at the bag first?
Well, the guy showed me, the guy showed him, but he switched bags on it. Yeah, he showed him the bag with a whole bunch of them, with the real money, see? But he's clever. He's been doing that for years.
Somebody else while he was waiting.
Yeah, right. So it sounds true and everything there, man. Hey, you better give it a second thought. So, the people run around there, Christians run around there and tell you they don't cost you nothing, you know, everything is just free and all that. They're lying to you. Salvation costs you, dear folks.
Amen.
Why do you think you need salvation? See? Why do you think you need it? Because God ain't pleased with the way you are now. He's bringing an end to this world.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
God loves you just as you are. If that was true, would be no end of the world. Just as we are. That's why I bring him into the world, because he don't love us just as we are.
Amen. Amen.
And if you don't change, you don't teshuva. But how can you do it if you don't know how? And this is why we have to get in touch with the right God. Start off, yes.
What that word teshuva mean to somebody who don't know?
Teshuva means to turn around, to return. Unfortunately, only to the children can it be returned. To the children of Israel can it be returned. To the world is to turn. Because they never was with him in the first place. Understand?
Right.
We have these people running around hollering about that, and they ain't never been with the true God from the get-go. Well, I've been religious, I've been like that. I don't care. You still ain't been with the right God.
Amen.
See? Therefore, it says, sing to God. This is Psalm 68:4. Sing to God, sing praises to his name. Extol him who rides on the clouds by his name, Yah.
Yeah.
What we have up here on our banner too, Yah.
Hallelujah.
And be glad in his presence.
Amen. Amen.
And dear folks, when you learn about him and what he has to offer for us and those things there, if you ain't glad to be in his presence, then something wrong with you.
Amen. Amen.
And you need to go and get it checked out.
Amen.
See?
Hallelujah.
And yes, it's going to cost you whatever that is. Well, I like to do this and all that, but if it ain't pleasing in his sight, you're going to have to get that up. That's why I say it's going to cost you.
Amen. Everything.
See? It's going to cost you this lifestyle.
Yes, everything.
And I like to go do this, and I like to go this, and I like to do that. You got no, you can't. That ain't gonna work. Hmm? That's why a lot of people don't like to be in his presence. Don't want to be around, because they got some stuff that they know ain't gonna be kosher. That ain't gonna blend in.
Don't want to be corrected.
Therefore, we have to get our understanding, and we have to make up our minds. And it starts with you. What do you want?
Amen. Amen.
Well, I want to have a good time and that and all that. Can't happen. Not what they call a good time, because you let the world dictate to you what is a good time. So I'm coming to study God's word. That's a good time to me.
Amen.
But that ain't what good time to you. That ain't a good time to them. See, because they let the world dictate to them what the definition of a good time is and what living is. Okay? Who is this God we're talking about? The 8th verse of the same chapter tells us. The earth quaked and rain poured from the sky at the presence of God. Even Sinai shook at the presence of God, the God of Israel. And if your God is not the God of Israel, you are serving and worshiping a false and idol God, and you will perish with your God.
Hallelujah.
Because our God is going to get rid of all these gods.
Amen. Amen.
Because he's the one that made the heavens and the earth.
That's right.
Therefore, if you want that long term, you got to give it to him that can give it to us. See, and he's the only one. But there's a requirement for that. Isaiah 43, 10 through 12. Somehow we get the wrong attitude and we think that there ain't a requirement. Israel just thought just their bloodline would be good enough. We'd be the seed of Abraham. So what? What made Abraham so special? See? Was it his blood?
Faith.
There you go.
He kept my law.
There you go. Isaiah 43, 10 through 12 say, you are my witnesses, Adonai, and my servants whom I have chosen, so that you can know and trust me. I don't like reading that Bible. I don't like doing that there. I don't get nothing out of reading that. I just can't, hey, well then how you going to like? Yeah. too many of us, we got our own ideas and our own thoughts, and we think that this is the way that it should be carried out, and this is the way that it should be done, and this is why we can't do it, because we're ever learning, but never able to come to the truth.
Amen. Amen.
Because people don't do it the way I think it ought to do it. They don't do it the way I like it. See? Well, we better understand something. We are God's witnesses. We are God's servant, not the other way around.
Amen.
And understand that I am He. And the world have set it up, I am them and they. And that's in the Trinity. See? And therefore, this would knock out Christians. Because they say that the Trinity is the fundamental teaching of Christianity. And you cannot be a Christian if you don't believe in the Trinity. I don't believe in the Trinity, therefore I can't be a Christian. And that's fine with me. That's fine with me. Because he says here that you are my witness, my servant whom I have chosen, so that you can know and trust me and understand that I am He. Explain to me what you mean by I am He. Sure glad he did that. No God was produced before me, nor will any be after me. So where do all these gods come from? Yes, I am Adonai. I'm the owner. Beside me there is no deliverer. I have declared, said, and proclaimed not some alien God among you. Therefore you are my witnesses, Adonai. I am God.
Hallelujah.
And if He can't use you for that there, what He needs you for?
That's right. Amen. That's right. That's right.
He owns everything. So if you can't serve His purpose for it, what He needs us for? Be glad that you know what His purpose is and be available for that.
Hallelujah.
I remember on my job, one of the guys, they would always tell me they was changing, they would call it getting mean and lean. That was the criteria they had, and so they'd go through them when they lay off folks and all that stuff, and all that stuff. And so she said, hey, you always want to make sure that you got a job and everything there. Hey, you got to make sure that people know that you're needed. And you're willing to see, they see something in you. So we had about 2 or 3 of them, they laid off everybody on the job. They told me, y'all fired. And then they'd have different guys start picking back up who they want, with and all that and everything. And I survived them all.
Praise God.
Then guys asking me, well, how do you survive and all those things? I said, well, it must have been something that they saw that they liked. Somebody wanted it. What I'm saying is that if you really want to learn, you'll do those things there. They was paying me $20 an hour and everything. Hey, and they want me to sweep the floor. Where's the broom?
Amen. Amen.
Some guys said, I ain't sweeping the floor. Yeah, I didn't need me. Let's take a time. Yeah. Are you crazy? They're gonna pay me $20 an hour. Hey, I'll tear that room up.
Amen. 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 That's right attitude.
but I know some guys were. Then he gonna get fired out there. They had to go on unemployment. He ain't gonna get near that on unemployment. Our next job they get out there, they make it way less than that.
They used to doing floors with the baby people to sweep floors.
Yeah, that's right. You go out there and get them sweeping floors, and they get to pay the same price for it. Yeah, $2 or $3. I told him no. I told him, hey, I'm a man. I ain't gonna let that. Why you sweeping floors now?
Broke man.
Make yourself available. See?
Yeah, we got guys they won't even drive a school bus. I ain't driving no school bus. I'm a mechanic. So I say, go ahead, I'll drive.
That's what I'm saying. People get those attitudes and get those. I've had one that I
don't know. Everybody can't handle no bus load of kids.
I'll tell you, I
For $38 an hour, I'm making a jet.
I like that adjustment anyway.
That's just like on my job. You know, when the modules your pretty much run out, you know, you got cables to do. A lot of them, they don't want to do cable. I said, hey, I don't mind doing cable. So, hey, I grab them cable.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, you know, they just try to pill around at their desk and keep them grabbing the cable.
They watching. I know what you mean.
That's it. And so the same thing with me. What I'm saying is that when you know your job, when you know those things and you know what they need and whatever, you got to be willing to do that. That's what I'm saying this all for. And the same thing with y'all. If you're going to draw something, hey, you're going to be willing to do what he asked you to do, not what you want to do.
Right.
But when it seems like when it comes out sideways, when it comes out, we get tossed. He's the one that's giving us eternal life, not the other way around.
Right.
We got to please him. You seem to think we just do whatever we want to and all like that. I got no, dear folks. You say, well, you asked me, did you sweep the floors? I sure did.
took out the trash while I was at it.
See, I sure did do that, Carol.
You wanted me to mop it, I did that.
And didn't mind doing it. See? Learn some other valuable words. It's okay to talk nice to folks too. Because you never know who you might be talking to. See, I talk nice to the janitor, man. You never know. But nevertheless, here he says that in Isaiah 44, 6-8, he said, thus says Adonai, Israel's King and Redeemer, Adonai Zevaot, I am the first and I am the last. Besides me, there is no God. So where's all these other things? You know, we got to even get out the attitude of even entertaining the idea of other gods and stuff. See? Who is like me? Let him speak out. Let him show me clearly what is in happening. Since I set up the eternal people, let him foretell future signs and events. Don't be frightened. Don't be afraid. Didn't I tell you this long ago? I foretold it, and you are my witnesses. Is there any God besides me? Israel, is there any God beside our God?
No, I know not any.
Israel, is there any God beside our God?
No, I know not any.
He said, is there any God besides me? He said, there is no other rock. I know of none. And if our God don't know of any, and he dwelling in me, therefore how in the world can I know all this other stuff?
That's right.
Somebody's lying about who's dwelling in them.
So,
See? That's what it is. When they come back and tell me all that stuff, and I say, well, yeah, see, you ain't got the same God that I serve. He ain't dwelling in you. Oh, yeah, I got a personal relationship with him. I said, yeah. It don't sound like it to me. You know some things that he don't even know. He said he don't know of any. There ain't but one true God, and all these others are false and vanity. Therefore, let us get our act together and let us understand those things and do what is best for us. Do our God need any help? Or he's so in trouble that he need any help? We go to Isaiah 45. Look to me and be saved, all the ends of the earth, for I am God, and there is no other. Not only the ends of the earth, but the ends of the worlds. In other words, our God don't need any help. He's sufficient for us.
Right.
After all, he's the one that made the heavens and the earth. Therefore, let us learn those things there. What is one of the greatest hopes that God has given for mankind and all that? It's called resurrection. I was listening to one television excerpt and they said, well, you come back in reincarnation, you come back as something else and somebody else, and you don't know nothing about this here and all those things here. And he said every once in a while they'll make a slip up, and they don't clean that soul. They said from the soul go from one soul to another, and so they make a mistake and don't clean the soul up and everything there, and clean all that whole past life up, and they'll get into another body, and they'll remember some of their past life. But that don't happen too often, but every once in a while they'll make a little slight mistake, and do those things there. But and that's in reincarnation. See, that's what they say about reincarnation.
Wait a minute, that sounds like schizoid. That sounds like schizoid.
But the point of it is that resurrection is not that. See? When we come back as a resurrected person, you're going to know.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And you ain't coming back and being rebirthed and born. They got where someone dies here, and then a new baby's born over there, and that's that soul that you done gave up and everything there. It done switched over and then went into this baby here now and all that, starting all over again and everything there. But sometimes they slip up and forget to wipe out the old history, and that baby will come there and they'll start remembering. I lived back in there, and I did some things back.
Sounds like somebody got fired at the soul cleaning factory.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yes, somebody kind of slipped a little taste here, and those things there. But resurrection is not that there, folks, at all. Right? I like the idea of me coming back if I have to die.
Yep.
But I like the better idea of not having to die at all.
Right.
See? But in case we don't, and the time period don't go forth, and we do, that don't mean that your hope is lost. That's the thing. That's the witness about the resurrection. Your action that you do is not lost. Okay? Now the Sadducees, they believe you just have a good life now and those things there, and then that was it. Pharisees said, no, there's got to be more than that. we have an infinite God, and we're going to be relegated to just to this little criteria here? No. And even examine the way the body is made, show forth that that was not his intent. See? But as I said before, who wants eternal headache?
No one.
No one. And therefore, Yah is processing us, getting us to learn how to live among ourselves, that we can be worthy for him to do that and restore that back to us. See? But man is working too. They're working hard too to restore that back too. They figure in another, 50 years or something. They'll be to come up with some. They think they can come up with some stuff that give us eternal life. So,
give us eternal life. Not live longer.
Well, yeah, some of them say you live longer than someone say you get eternal life because of what they're gonna do. They're gonna give you a body that ain't gonna deteriorate. See, they're gonna download your brain and your thoughts wave and you, and they're gonna download it into a body that won't decay.
Yeah.
They can't get that opportunity. They might be here another.
So, well, these
make mistakes.
yeah, this is
Downloading brains and other stuff if you were rocking it in backwards or something.
So you're a robot.
Yeah. This is crazy. That robot's crazy, man. They didn't do that right.
well, but resurrection, dear folks, I like that. We go to John, the 11th chapter of John. Because this life period span, it just ain't long enough. See? I think that, especially when you start talking about going out into the cosmos, talking about going out there, I think the nearest, closest star that we have to us to go to another star and everything there is it's supposed to be like Alpha Centauri, right? And I think it's about 400. I think it says 400 light years away. Well, dear folks,
They won't make
you imagine how long it would take us at the speed that we at?
You have to have like generation shift. You have to die and be born quick.
Oh man, you got to go. You got to have some generations. Because if
Unless we're going to live to be as old as the ancestors.
well, right. It won't matter then if you have eternal life.
That's true.
But the point of it is that just to go from that place there and all like that, the speeds that we got here right now, fastest speed that we got sounds fantastic, 17, 18,000 miles per hour. That's the fastest speed we got now. But that sounds fast.
But it's slow.
17,000 miles an hour?
That ain't no good in space.
Yeah, right. Right now, we at them airplanes, man, they run off and leave the sound. Sound way back there, the plane way up there, But that's only Mark 1 or 2 or 3, that's still slow when you get out there. That's how fast our God is. That's how fantastic that is. Dear folks, people say, well, what you gonna do? What in the world you gonna do? What in the world you got to do? Who wanna live forever? I had one guy ask me, who wanna live forever? What you gonna do? There's just so much you can do, and then what you gonna do? I don't wanna live forever.
They have that choice.
That's their choice. That's their choice. But here, I like the idea. And y'all, hey, you got worlds out there we know nothing about. Galaxies out there we know nothing about. Yes.
Mason was telling me about she had seen on a video about when someone died in Hades. They put the casket into a rocket and shoot him to heaven.
From where? Yeah.
Shoot him to heaven. I told her, I said, well, that casket just fall into another city or something.
Somebody's house.
Right. They can shoot him into heaven.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of ideas and people got a lot of thoughts as to
Some people really do that? Yeah, that's what she said.
That's what he said.
Wow.
yeah.
Wake up and hear something.
I didn't know where to shoot the rocket to.
But all they know is shoot him into heaven.
Maybe it disintegrates.
Shoot him straight up.
So far. It'll just.
Huh?
Wait, now how much are they charging people for this service?
In certain areas.
How much they charging people to shoot them up like that? I might need to get me some rock.
That's why they starving over there.
Yeah, a couple $100,000, that's people better off there.
It's bad, but everybody is seeking after those things. Yeah, but here in John 11, Martha said unto Yeshua, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Even now I know that whatever you asked of God, see right there, that show you that they did not think that the Mashiach was God. How these Christians got into Jesus being God and all this stuff there, those people right now, they didn't think that. See?
What verse you read 5?
That's 11, and I started the 21st verse.
Oh,
John 11. See? He says, even now I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you. Yeshua said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha said, I know that he will rise again at the resurrection on the last day. So that was well taught to him. Unless you was a Sadducees, you know, that was taught them, they didn't believe that. So there are people that are taught stuff that they don't believe. So that ain't something new. You know, that's always been. You know, we have people right today. You're taught stuff that they don't believe. You know, they don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't want to say. Okay then. Well, we just miss out on that. See? Yeshua said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Whosoever put his trust in me will live, even if he dies. Resurrection means that same person will live again, not be reincarnated and live again in some other body and don't know nothing about the other one, all those things there, and that's the end of it and all that there.
Without God being the God of the living.
Huh?
I mean, our God is the God of the living.
Of course.
Not the dead. So that for those that died, will rise.
That's it. Right? Therefore, let us be willing to pay the price for what it does. Okay, we have Sister LaShonda. She's going to come forward with the banner intro. And we're going to, our song is Congregation of the Righteous.
The inside of his glory. He that hath an ear to hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches. Isaiah 62, 10 through 12. Pass through the gates. Prepare the way for the people. Build up the highway. Remove the stones. Raise a banner for the nations. The Lord has made proclamations to the end of the earth. Say to the daughter of Zion, see, your Savior comes. See, his reward is with him, and his recompense accompanies him. They will be called the holy people, the redeemed of the Lord. This banner, which Yah gave, representing Jerusalem and her king, the man whose name is the branch, Zechariah 6, 12, and 13. Isaiah 18:3. All ye inhabitants of the world and dwellers on the earth, see ye when he lifteth upon an ensign on the mountains, and when he bloweth a trumpet, hear ye. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
The sons of Zion rejoice in the King. Let them praise his name with dancing. Let them sing praises to him. The temple and the life. The Lord takes place in the people. And you never know it's true.
Israel update to keep us up on what's going on, to watch and understand, put a correlation on what is taking place, so that we can relate to what the Bible is talking about. Woe to those who are blind and don't understand those things and don't see it. Feel sorry for them. Somehow we've got those conjectures mixed all up. But see, the Bible is just telling history and those things ahead of time. These are the things that solidify us in the point of believing that the Bible is true. But if you don't know how to reference those things and understand those things there, then you miss out and you lose out. See? It's just like driving down the road and they got all them signs and you don't know what them signs mean and everything there, and you don't know how to correlate it to your driving. They put them signs out there to aid your driving. I don't need them signs out there. I know how to drive.
Signs keep you alive, get you killed.
See? I don't need that. I don't need that. I know how to drive. I don't need nobody telling me that.
You need a sign out there to show you a sharp curve.
Yes, you do.
You sure do.
And I would get them different signs out there for you. Hey, let me tell you something, man. I fell into one of them curves there like that there. The sign was there?
You had rack and pin and steering.
Yeah, I didn't pay no attention.
What the sign say?
It says slow down, sharp curves. You had the sign there and everything there. I'm talking with the guys and stuff. Carload of guys. Man, next thing I know, man, the highway done disappeared, man. All I'm seeing out there is field out there.
That was the deal. Yeah, that deal.
Huh? Well, no, that was another deal.
Oh, okay.
No, this is a curve there, boy. Boy, we had to turn and make that turn, boy. That car was leaning on us, scraping on the side of the door, man. Leaning so hard, boy. Ooh.
That was scary.
Ran out of real estate, boy. How they going back over that way there? And you all you see is field out there, the big ditch. I said, oh, I'm messed up here now. But that dip was the one that really got me. That's why I say you need to pay, that helps you drive. I'm cruising along now, 75, 80 miles an hour, and it says, slow down, dip. I said, oh, talking about?
Get that dip when airborne.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's going on 75 right there, man. No. That hump is about that high.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Slide in the air.
Well, I hit that dip, man, and then airborne. All I can see is the air and the sky. Ain't see no road, no nothing there. Ooh, you come up get to praying then. She got, I have no sense to know, boy.
You was speeding.
This is a danger here.
Yeah, you was speeding.
Oh, well, yeah, I knew that there, but I'm talking about that being in the air was the thing that scared me.
Now you don't know where you don't know where you go.
That's right, because you don't know how much you done turned the wheels. And I know, I said, Lord, oh, man. Come back down and the wheels turn, it's going to flip that car over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you going to holler then.
Go ahead.
You be hollering about they don't believe no God and all that. You let somebody get scared like that. You not hollering then. You start hollering then.
I call mama when I'm, Mama!
Boy, I was hollering then. And luckily, I came fortunately blessed. Come down and I hadn't turned the wheels and stuff there and all that. Let me tell you something. When I came back through there again, I saw that sign up there. I shut it down, Jack. Taught me a lesson. From then on, I pay attention to them signs out there.
They important.
Yeah, I wasn't like that on listen. That song going as high as a house almost. It's going to run that track.
Well, they got one down there, down there by the talkers down there, You go crawl through that little faster when you think it'll make you go a little airborne.
Hey.
So those signs and those things are out there for us. God gave us these prophecies and everything there for us to watch and to see. See? Watch and pray always. What you watching for? What are you going to be watching? I'm watching to see who's going over to my neighbor's house.
Got it.
You better know what don't make sleep.
And it's sad that the enemy get people with get attitudes and stuff, and it's for their own good. See? But dear folks, that's what it's all about. One of the things here is, the question is where is President Trump's peace plan for Israel and the Palestinians? Where's it at? See? He been done promised that a long time ago, and he came with it. When he brought run, he said, "Oh yeah, that's a cake." He said, "I'm a deal maker. I can come over. I can solve that problem. No, I can do that in my sleep. That's easy." He ain't even come up with one yet.
No.
See? And he was supposed to be way back in June, I think, when they were supposed to.
Right.
It was right out, and here it is in August. August just about out, and still ain't got no plans. Well, they ain't told it. They say he got a plan, but he ain't made mention about it.
They keep sidetracking the president, though. They keep bringing up all kinds of stuff, dealing at the football game and stuff. You can't get nothing done for watching all that stuff.
Well, that's true too.
Don't he have advisors?
Huh?
Don't he have advisors?
Oh yeah, sure.
They snitching on him, turning him in.
Yeah, and look at the advisors and the people that he got.
They're turning
A lot of them have left, and a lot of them is headed to jail.
They're turning him in.
Well, he can't come up with nothing without his advisors.
He said he know how to hire good people. Obama didn't know how to do that shit. Obama didn't know. He said, but he know how to hire the best people, and he gonna hire the best people and do that shit.
But what's the sense of hiring somebody that agree with you? I mean, that's not a good advisor. Somebody who's gonna agree with every word you say. Yes. What you said? Yes. Do that.
He's trying to keep his job.
That's not advisory.
He's trying to keep his job, though.
Yeah, advisory is somebody who's gonna tell you the right thing to do, the right places to make. That's a good advisor. Whether you like it or not.
He firing people. As soon as they don't agree, they got to go.
That's right. That's not a good advisor. I don't want nobody like that. I would want somebody that, hey, even though I don't agree with them, at least they can tell me their opinion. Well, Mr. President, I don't think you should make this decision. I don't think you should make that decision.
They'll stay around long.
But that ain't how he is.
I don't think that in the employment line.
Well, just like he was saying about the people that, I guess he was talking about the people that he had hired. They said, did you know I was a snake?
Yeah, right.
So one of the news commentators said, so was he referring to himself or the people?
right. So, yeah, he gave that story about the snake, and the snake and all that, and the frog or something and everything.
The old woman took that snake home and warmed him up in the snake bed.
Yeah, right. And why'd you do that? And now we both gonna die. And you know I was a snake in the first place. Right. Now who was he talking about? But like I said, was he talking about it just like he was bragging about his lawyer, Cohen.
Yes.
Now it's throwing and turning in.
Yep.
So I guess he referred to Cohen as a snake.
All the time by himself.
But he knew what kind of man it was. Because that's the kind of people you got to have to do that kind of cover up stuff that he had done.
Right. I mean, he had a devious heart. Such a devious line of work.
The Cohen said one time that he would die for Trump.
Yeah.
They said take a bullet for him.
You take a bullet for him,
Yeah, he
Mr.
changed his mind.
Well, maybe he meant, maybe if he was still on the payroll, he'd take a bullet for him. But when he got fired, and you on your own now.
Right.
No money, no honey, right?
And they talking about messing up their pension too if they got one. Talking about taking that away on something. I think they do that, yeah. I think somebody's talking about a good time.
But do the Republicans care about that? Do they talk? No. Now those Republicans, they was talking about Trump. I mean Obama, and they couldn't get nothing bad on it and everything. But they was talking about we gotta protect the presidency. We gotta do this here and we gotta do this. Now this guy here is a womanizer, doing all kind of stuff, lying backwards and forwards. One of the big mainline lies that he said is Mexico gonna build a wall. Y'all remember that? You don't hear nothing about that no more, do you? But you still hear about the wall being built and everything, man. And guess who he's mad about? Cause he ain't gonna get it. He's mad and want it done and everything. The Democrats. Why he mad at the Democrats about that? He said that Mexico won't pay for it.
I thought y'all already knew all for something.
Oh, they did.
So he didn't want it.
Yeah.
$35 billion.
You want it all of it. You want it all of it.
Well, but dear folks, he kept his word about Jerusalem, though.
Yeah. But you know, they said that Obama was going to be the worst president that's going to get the United States in debt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Trump, he doing.
Oh yeah.
Trump messing with every tariff U.S. has ever been involved in. He got everybody shut down.
He the devil him.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
But he said he gonna come around.
He gonna come around, yeah. He gonna just give him a chance.
Yeah.
Give him a chance.
But he said if y'all impeach him, he said the stock market gonna crash and I do. And I believe that.
Well, he said everybody gonna be poor.
Yeah. Well,
Even the billionaires gonna be poor.
yeah.
He ain't.
They ain't gonna be poor. He's just talking about everybody. He's talking about us folks.
He's talking about people that can't leave the country.
He talking about people that ain't got money hid over in the Caymans and got money hid just like when being
and then Swiss banks.
his campaign manager man that got in trouble. Manafort, right? Well, he had that, but that guy had money stashed
everywhere. He probably still got money passing. Nobody don't know about.
No, they don't know.
They ain't gonna help him though.
Yeah, he got money.
When he get out though, he gonna be able to retire real nice.
Yeah.
What, 65 years?
No, he got 5
I bet
years.
you don't do all that.
He got 8 years. That's all he got.
Oh, they gonna.
I bet he don't do 8 years.
He gonna get pardoned.
That's right.
He ain't through yet. He got to go for it again.
In 6 months, I bet you he'd be on the beach.
But dear folks, all these things are showing you what did the Bible say. You know,
That complexity is going to be upon the
and the Bible tells us, you know, evil men shall wax worse and worse.
Deceiving, being deceived.
And that's exactly what's happening nowadays. You know, at least at one time they thought that there's certain statuses and certain positions, you know, would at least have some integrity and would have some kind of, you know, loyalty about it. And now they don't. This man got up there and tell you fake news and you believe it.
Sure.
He got there point blank said that he did not pay for those women. Now he's got on point blank saying I did pay for them.
Yeah, but it wasn't with campaign money.
Yeah, but with campaign money.
So it ain't that bad.
It was,
Right.
It was campaign money. He's trying to cover that up.
See? But before that time, he was saying I didn't do it.
Yeah. Lie. You know he did.
But this is the thing though. This guy's supposed to be intelligent. And he knows that every time he opens his mouth, everybody records it.
Yeah.
So he'll tell a lie that morning, and then that evening he'll come back and say he didn't say that.
He's not intelligent.
No, he's not.
He did his job though.
Yeah.
You can't just hold on to millions like that if you
There you
don't.
go.
Somebody gonna rob you.
He's got it set up right now, and then people ain't gonna believe. People gonna think
When he
it's
do tell the truth, like the wolf, when the little boy called Hollow Wolf, when he do tell the truth, they ain't believe me.
Well,
Trump did tell the truth, and I heard him say this. And most of y'all heard, that man is very truthful what he said. He said, if I go to 32nd Street, 34th Street right now and kill somebody right now, nobody would care about it. Y'all heard that when he said that on the
That's on that. We don't.
But what I'm saying, he was telling the truth, and nobody cared whether he go out and kill somebody. That's what I'm saying.
well, because he knows that he got the people in his back
Why would you
pocket.
hire somebody you know they're gonna be that kind of murderous spirit? They already know he was a murderer when he got in there.
Therefore, this is the world that we're living in. See those things there. When the high offices, when all these things there, you see all this stuff happening. Oh yeah. You also found out about the Catholic Church. Y'all know about the Catholic Church.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Coming on out, 88
coming
years old. The man 88 now.
He ain't stepping down either.
All the boys been catching it for years.
All the girls too.
diplomats, they can't prosecute the girl.
Yeah, you had girls too.
I didn't know
Prostitutes.
that.
You a prostitute girl.
They are.
Girl and boy.
They got women there too. They got women
Altar,
there.
I never heard
Well, see, altar boys ain't gonna get pregnant. See, altar boys ain't gonna get pregnant. See, so that they don't, because they would run out of space to bury the babies when them nuns was getting pregnant and everything. They had run out of space under the what you call it. They run under some of them cathedrals and stuff there, and saw all kind of bodies and everything there, burial place where they done buried babies and stuff. Cause them nuns, what nuns?
Yeah, they is. They own shit.
Well, the part of it is that hey, it's all covered up for the church and all those things there. And,
All lies.
so all these things are coming out and all these things there, and that's supposed to be the father of all religion, and he's supposed to be the papa of all those things there, and yet still and this is covered up in the big boys.
They also been holy virgins.
Yep, that's right. Nuns supposed to be virgins and everything there. All right.
Wait a minute.
I'm
I
just.
thought nuns were waiting for the Messiah to be born through them.
No.
Oh no, they are. Y'all believe that Jesus.
That's what nuns are supposed to be about.
They're supposed to be married to the
They're
Messiah.
supposed to be, I thought they were supposed to be
No.
like dedicated to the church in the hopes that the Messiah would come through them.
Well, that was at first. That was among Israel. Yeah, but
That's
after.
where they got the idea from.
Yeah, right. But the Catholic Church never thought that they were brides of the Mashiach.
So they can rise up in this.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
They
right.
get
So
right.
he been back. he been around. All them babies are there under it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the priests been busy with the boys and the nuns too.
Yeah.
Tell it like it is.
They drink a lot of wine up in there.
They sure ain't.
Oh, they do. That's true.
Oh yeah.
Especially on Christmas.
But hey, so it just all these things are coming out and showing forth there, and they've been doing it for years.
It's the man 88 years old, and the one they coming out with him, they charging him for I think it was 21. He did. Can't think of his name, but he's 88 years old. I guess he thought he was gonna get away.
Well, they did for a while.
He got caught.
So they expect the Pope to do something.
Oh,
The Pope probably get them put them
oh,
on
he
stuff.
probably was father and
Well, you know, for the sake of the church and everything, that they covered up among the diocese and all, but it just shows you that how corruption, and men, evil men, are waxing worse and worse. You know, here they're supposed to be the standard, right?
That's the idea about if this is going on in modern countries. Just imagine what's going on in third world countries where they don't have nobody to monitor them or anything.
Oh yeah.
They're just wide open.
Oh yeah.
In poverty-stricken countries where they got the church, they partying hard over there.
and the UE, the EU, European Union, they are against Israel now because Israel is building up the settlement in the Shomron now, in the West Bank and all that stuff. So they're protesting and said, you can't do this here. You're going against international law. You ain't supposed to let Israel get away with this here. And anybody that's going to say that you're going against international law and we're going to bring it up in the courts. Well, you know what international law says.
Yeah, what does it say?
Resolution 242. All the nations got together in 1967 and said that, yeah, you won, but you are not allowed to do anything on this land like you the owner of it and everything there and all that there and all that, and you're not allowed to do anything there unless the nations say you can. That's right. Even though the United States come along and said that call it Jerusalem, Israel, but they still, see, didn't have the ability, they still don't have the power to go against the international law.
They still can't build, even though they're their city?
Huh?
No, it's not their city. It's the nation's city.
No, you have to understand that in 1967 they said this belonged to the nations. That's what it's all about, dear folks.
Even though it's called Israel.
Yeah.
They can fight with y'all.
But this thing is all set up. This thing is all set up. This is why God is bringing all nations against Israel, against Jerusalem.
Hallelujah.
Because they have made that choice.
Hallelujah.
See?
Ain't no competition.
But you know, Christians don't care nothing about it. Other folks will come because they're going to be raptured away from here. See, they're going to be on there. They ain't going through that terrible tribulation and they ain't going through all that stuff there. And, but it should have been gone. That's all I can say. But dear folks, watch these things. All these things are coming about. And there are some things that's getting ready to, that's come, that's going to really get this thing going here. And it's set up, see? And we don't know how close we are to the time, you know?
Amen.
And if you're not paying attention to those things there and correlating those things there, you're going to be caught on the wrong side.
Amen.
You're going to be caught on the blind side.
That's right.
And you're going to wind up going against God's plan, thinking you're doing His will.
That's right.
See?
So true.
So let's get the understanding and get it right here. Okay. This is also during our time of Teshuvah. We have some reading that we're going to do, so you need to get your Bibles, and we're going to ask you to stand. And we're going to go to the book of Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter of Ezekiel. Want everybody to participate with your Bibles and all?
33rd chapter of Ezekiel.
That's right. It's page 686 in the complete. And we're going to read 1 through the 9th verse. I will read the first verse, and you will read the second verse, and then when we get to the 9th verse, we'll read it all together. Okay?
Which one are you going to read out of the...
Complete.
Yeah, that's the one I'm reading out of the complete.
33rd chapter of Ezekiel.
What chapter is it?
33.
Ezekiel 33.
I thought 36. Where did I get that from?
I don't know.
Okay. Spirit of error.
Oh, okay.
Where it come from?
All right. Everybody there?
33.
Yeah.
And what verse?
Starting to the first verse. We're going to
Okay,
read 1
page
through the 9th verse.
686. Okay.
I'm going to read the first, you'll read the second, and so forth, and then we'll get to the 9th one. We'll read that together. The word of Adonai came to me.
Human beings, speak to your people. Say to him, suppose I bring the sword on country, and the people of their country take one of their men and appoint him their watchman.
Now if upon seeing the sword coming against that country, he blows the shofar and warns the people.
Then this one comes, take away some of them, and heard the sound of the shofar, but paid no attention to it. The responsibility for that person's death will be on him.
Hallelujah.
He heard the shofar, but paid no attention. So the responsibility for his death is his own. Whereas if he had paid attention, he would have saved his life.
But if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not blow the shofar, so that the people are not warned, and the sword comes forth,
Take any one of them. For that
disease to take away his guilt. But I hold the watchman responsible for his death.
Likewise, ye human beings, I have appointed you as a watchman for the house of Israel. Therefore, when you hear the word of my mouth, warn them from me.
When I tell the wicked person, you will certainly die, and you will die guilty, and warn a wicked person to leave his way. Then that wicked person will die guilty, and I will hold you responsible for his death.
Altogether, on the other hand, if you warn the wicked to turn from his way, and he doesn't turn from his way, then he will still die guilty, but you will have saved your own life. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Okay, our remain standing. Bow your head for tonight, Baraka. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has given us your Torah, the writings and the prophets, and the great act that shine by thy great spirit, and have commanded us to diligently teach them unto our children, unto our people, and all people of the earth. And let all Israel say, Amen. Now you may be seated. Our Torah reading for this week's PARASHA is found in the book of Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter, starting at the 10th verse, through the 25th chapter, the 19th verse. That is Deuteronomy 21:10 through Deuteronomy 25:19. Our half-Torah reading is taken from the book of Isaiah, the 54th chapter, starting at the first verse through the 10th verse. That is Isaiah 54, 1 through 10. This week's PARASHA is PARASHA 49, which is Kitetze, which means when you go out. Our scripture reading will be taken from the half-Torah reading, which will be given by Shamash. Let us give him our undivided attention as he read the word of God to us.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
May you be inscribed in the book of life for a good year.
Same to you.
Scripture reading is taken from Isaiah 54, 4 through the 10th verse. Isaiah 54, 4 through 10. Don't be afraid, for you won't be ashamed. Don't be discouraged, for you won't be disgraced. You will forget the shame of your youth. No longer remember the dishonor of being widowed, for your husband is your maker. Adonai Zevaot is his name. The Holy One of Israel, your Redeemer. He will be called the God of all the earth. For Adonai has called you back, like a wife abandoned and grief-stricken. A wife married in her youth cannot be rejected, says your God. Briefly I abandoned you, but with great compassion I am taking you back. I was angry for a moment and hid my face from you, but with everlasting grace I will have compassion on you, says Adonai, your Redeemer. For me, this is like Noah's flood. Just as I swore that no flood like Noah's would ever again cover the earth, so now I swear that never again will I be angry with you or rebuke you. For the mountains may leave and the hills be removed, but my grace will never leave you, and my covenant of peace will not be removed, says Adonai, who has compassion on you. May Yah add a special blessing to the reading and hearing of his word.
Amen.
Yah, in dealing with his people and with the nations as a whole, have set standards and set things for us. And we was telling you last week that Yah said, do not practice the things of the nations and don't follow after their things there, because he's not pleased with that. But apparently somehow we get those things mixed all up, and this is why, dear folks, hatred and those things cannot work for God's kingdom. See?
Amen.
And these things have gotten people to look. But it just so happens that this particular week I had a kind of preference to it, and so came back in the Torah, and this happened to be a part of the Torah. I was reading in there, something on YouTube there, and it was talking about whether or not God loved women or not, and so I was reading that in there, and it had a pretty good point there, boy. And they were just he was really giving y'all a hard time about that, but however, when you don't know all the Torah, you mess yourself up. Right. See, you mess yourself up. And so, and it depends on what perspective that you look at things. Mm-hmm. But Yah has a standard for Israel that is above all the other nations.
Hallelujah.
Right. And anything that you do, see?
Hallelujah.
And when you start trying to compare with the other things there, it just don't work. Mm-hmm. See? And so was reading in there, and you're going to be reading this in Deuteronomy 21. So you go to Deuteronomy 21, which we'll start at 10 verses. So I'll just continue to have prelude into this here. But in this particular scheme, it was saying that why did God allow rape? And boy, and he was just giving y'all all kind of problems about allowing rape. You sent them over there and let them go over there and rape the women in there. You know that? Why did you let them do that then? Why that was wrong to do? I was saying that. I mean, but if you think about from their perspective, yeah, that sounds pretty good, you know. But nevertheless, we have to understand: was that God's requirement? Was that the things that God said for Israel to do? See? Yes, those things happened. When they went over there and those things, and when you see those things there, yeah, women got ravished and women got raped. Yes, they did. See? But was that the standard that now you didn't know Torah, you should know what God set the standard there, and we're gonna take a little time to kind of get this so you can know. And this is why you have the advantage when you know Torah better than anybody else does, because those folks is clearly they didn't know Torah. They knew about the story, but they didn't know the full understanding of Torah.
Yeah, because they say that's going to happen this time in Zechariah 14.
Right.
Soldiers going to come in and ravage the women.
Y'all hear me now. Well, I tell y'all too good in here. That's all right. But everybody's not that way. But the point of it is, yeah, but what perspective they're going to be in, though. That's the thing of it is.
Right.
See here. In Deuteronomy 21:10, start reading there.
When you go out to war against your enemies,
Whoa, stop right there. He says, when you go out to war, and that's exactly what they said on that protocol in the YouTube. They said, why did you let them go out in there? And when they go out there, you told them to go out there and kill up all the folks and kill up this and that and get rid of all. And then you told them, but now the women, you can save the women. And now we all know what they saved them for. They just raped them and just had them running around and all that thing there. And God, you never get away with that. I see it, it depends on what perspective you want to look at. And then it said, so you got something against the women. To let something like that happen to the women.
He told us that if you see a good-looking woman that you want for yourself.
I'm prefacing it up here.
Okay.
That's what the scripture goes. But this was coming forth those things there and saying it in that light, as if they're those, and so well, wait a minute, Yeah, that's what they normally do in those things. But is that the standard? Was that the thing that God set forth for him? So this is point blank going to that. This couldn't happen at a better time, because this happened right in when you go out to war. Mm-hmm. He's saying this here. He's setting the standard for them what to do. Now, this is talking about the standard of how the world does it, and the nation does it, and all those things. Yes, that's what they will do, and they will do us in there. But was that the standard that God set for Israel? Israel is to be above the nations, and Israel was not to act like that. See? And we're going to find out what Torah had to say about it. But they were saying that you allowed it, and you let them go out, and you let them do those things there. But here's my thing of it is, I thought that was a bad concept and a bad picture of saying that God disliked women. As a matter of fact, to me, God was showing favorable to women on that incident.
They didn't get killed and they kept them. They didn't go down in the killing.
Because the men didn't have no criteria. They were going to die. I don't care what.
That's right.
Were they virgin or not?
Yeah, right. Virginity wasn't going to save the males.
Don't even come up.
We should have been saying,
So, right.
God didn't like men.
Yeah, right. That's right. That's what Paul was saying. The should have said whatever. But he's going to take that example there, going to take that example to say he don't like men, don't like women. Mm-hmm. But hey, you let the women live.
Yeah.
They had a criteria to live. The man had no criteria to live.
Didn't have a choice.
Young, old, or what? You died. Virgin or not? How old virgin? I with his head. So I wanted you to see how people take these pictures, how they take these things. And if you don't know your Torah, if you don't know your those things, these things are convincing, because without reading all Torah and just listen to what they said, boy, it was convincing. See? not knowing the whole thing, it's convincing. But nevertheless, we see here, but here, what was the study that God set for that? See? Now you can start reading that.
When you go out to war against your enemy, and Adonai your God hands them over to you, and you take prisoners, and you see among the prisoners a woman who looks good to you, and you feel attracted to her and wants her as your wife, you are to bring her home to your house.
Not take her and rape her.
Right.
Yeah. Where she will shave her head.
Notice this here. It said that when you see them all up there, you got to have an intent not just to rape her. See? You can't even have the conjecture of wanting to rape her. Notice what it said there. It didn't say nothing about no conjecture of looking on that woman and wanting to rape her.
That's right.
What you gonna do to look at her?
Mary!
Treat us equal.
Mary!
That's right.
Wife! Is these things are foreign to see in this modern world? Now these are foreign language. These are foreign statements. Not because we shack together, we live out, but don't. We're not here. Did I put that in? That's something I put in there.
You tell me you can't shack with a part?
That's what I put in there.
He said marriage.
Why you can't shack with a couple of months? All right.
Read what it said there.
And you see among the prisoners a woman who looks good to you, and you feel attracted to her and wants her as your wife.
Oh!
So, no shame.
Whoa!
Yep.
They missed that one part there. They bypassed that one part there.
Shave her head.
Oh, yeah, you see her, you want her, you have it, so you going to rape her. That ain't what it said. And to see to it that you don't do that, God has some measurements that you did.
See, I guess they're saying that so if this woman refused, then you still take her home, you're a maker.
But that ain't what it, that's not the standard that God set.
No means no.
Right.
That's not the standard that God set. No. Did Israel do that? Did Israel follow through on all that? No, that was something that went against what God said.
Not all of it.
But that don't mean that was God's standard that He set forth.
Right.
You tell them what to do. Take her. Got the intent. I want to rape her. Is that what it said?
No.
No.
Area.
Cut her head off.
What did it say?
Cut her nails.
Said if she feel attracted to you and you want her as your wife.
Yeah, there you go. That's the first thing that had to happen.
Yep.
She's beautiful to you. She look good enough to you and all that. And you want her as your wife. Mary. Then you can go and rape her.
No.
Then you go.
Wait a month.
Mary.
Then you have to wait. Yeah.
Once you conclude that you want her as your wife, the rape is out.
Right.
Listen, y'all all got raped then that's the case then.
In my marriage, I have a choice. It sounds like she don't have a choice.
No.
I chose to marry my husband. That's the difference.
She have a choice.
It was
She could have died.
She have a choice. What you talking
Therefore, be his sex slave. His wife slave.
She was the enemy.
You was an enemy.
Be his
So
wife
that was
slave.
the difference.
about? Y'all look more.
Yeah. was the enemy.
There wasn't no war, but even God had standards then, even in war. God had standards. And they were the enemy. And God still had high standards.
She was a prisoner.
Right.
You either married.
She had a choice. She could have died.
Yeah.
Hey, man folks didn't have no choice.
Right.
So who's getting the favoritism?
Yeah.
The man or the woman?
The woman.
There were men and women who died too. The ones he thought was ugly died.
But yeah.
Okay. So they died too.
Hey, you could have been the handsomest guy in the world and all that, not ugly and all that, and you the male, you died. You had no criteria.
Them other ones could have developed a nice personality that might live.
And what's ugly to you ain't ugly to everybody else. And what's pretty, so that there was a tremendous amount of leeway there between what we because they don't all have to be tens.
That's right. There's a lot of ugly guys in the army. There's a lot of ugly guys in the army.
But that's it wasn't like I set this up and that was like it just happened to be, and it just happened to be this particular. PARASHA that just kind of come out, so just kind of fit in real good. So I said, I'm gonna take a little time to because there's a point I want to make here that I see this happening among our Hebrew Israelite brothers. Where did they get this attitude and where did they get this idea? I'm gonna give me a 12-year-old white woman. I'm gonna go down there and rape her. Where did they get that from? God never set no standards like that.
That's their own mind.
Yeah, that's those guys on the corner.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Corrupt man.
Yeah.
They don't know Torah.
Right. He's a pedophile.
And they are locked in on that, dear folks. I can't wait till I get me one of them. I'm going in there. She got to be white too.
And some of the time, Moody thinking they say that if you have a 3-year-old, it's just like punching an eye. Well, you know that exists. Huh?
Pedophile.
Dear folks,
Pedophile.
let's understand something. Just as they get this thing corrupted here, if you don't study stuff and all those things, then you don't have enough studying out there, you get stuff wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You get the wrong perspective of things. This is why you need to be a learned person, know them, and have to understand all these things here before you go delving into some stuff there because these guys ain't had no time to holler do nothing. But you know what? It feeds on their ego. It feeds on their ego. But what did God say? Let's finish the standard here. And I want to point out why He done those things here. Otherwise, it make no sense for him to do these things here. Notice what he said do here.
You are to bring her home to your house, where she will shave her head, cut her fingernails, and remove her prison clothing.
Now, what was the purpose of doing that there?
To make her ugly looking.
Huh?
So that
Undesirable.
everybody will know that she's theirs.
And it was also a safety factor for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how you feel about it.
So you wouldn't rape her either. First of all.
Okay. Well, you gonna still have that same feeling with it for looking like that.
And there you go.
That's what it was.
See, y'all know how to do those things, protecting her. Just like I see the stuff. God give us an ad to shelter, so you had to take home and y'all women know about them keeping them nails pared. Why y'all do all that stuff? Why you do all that stuff? Spend all that time with the nails and all that stuff there. Make you look good. Yeah.
How they gonna stop the man from raping her by shaving her hair and all?
Mason, you're a man more than that. You're a man just like me. If the woman don't look good to you, ain't gonna be raping no.
Hey, there's some men that women don't have to look good.
Well,
So that's what I'm saying. So, she's got to have, for the regular woman, she's got to have some kind of what you call them, for guys. Listen, he's just a loony. I mean, there's something wrong with him.
Mason looked back in the day, he loved pretty hats.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know. She didn't have no long hair stuff. She didn't have no long hair stuff. You ain't even messing around. We all have our standards. No, the whole premise is said that she looked beautiful to you. You know that was the whole reason why you bought her there.
You attracted to her.
Right.
I mean, you can always take a
And so to make sure that you don't get out of sort everything there and all that, and this is what you want everything there. God said you want to knock all that beauty off and everything. Cause you gotta wait a while. You just can't go in there today and call, what you want? No. There's procedure, there's steps that you gotta do. In other words, I have standards. We have standards that we gotta meet and qualify up. Take that war stuff off of it. Didn't it say something about a garment? Take that war garments off?
Yeah.
Why did they take the war garments off of it? Why do you think they had to take the war garments off? Give us some other garments.
I don't know. Why she won't be on the enemy?
So you wouldn't think the fact that she just belonged to you and you just handle her any kind of way you want her, cause she your slave and she your wife and she belong. So you have to change this whole atmosphere about this situation.
Okay.
All this was to uphold God's standard that God has for Israel.
I have a problem.
What problem you have?
My problem is that, all right,
One
you don't kill her family. You don't kill her family, and you want to make her your enemy, your wife.
Yeah.
So she's figuring out, well, how can I get even with this? But women will get you, boy. They'll get you. Now, how can I get even with him?
Cut his throat.
Cut his throat while he sleep. While he sleep. I didn't see that like that. You know, when you have an enemy in your camp, you got to fight.
That's no problem.
That ain't gonna happen.
There's no chances that you
That's
take.
the chance you take.
That has nothing to do with God's standard.
I know, stand up, God is good.
Right.
Saying,
You don't want to choose. God didn't take you to choose. Let me try to lay out on y'all.
Cause he said
You don't kill all our family up, all
Wait a minute.
I didn't take you to choose her. You didn't want to make that choice.
Correct.
I got a problem with
Cause he
that.
said, if you choose.
Now,
That left it
my
open.
deal is this: if she chooses to shave her head and she got the attitude, she's still surrounded by the enemy.
Yeah, but women, you under coerce. Women scheme on you, boy. You don't know. Yes, indeed.
Well, don't mess with him.
Don't mess with it.
Don't mess with him.
Not all of them like that, but some of them, boy, they scheme on you. They put hot grist on you, something on you.
Nah, she was.
You talking about? Hey, wait a minute. You talking about?
Because you messed up,
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You talking about her doing that to you because you done killed her mom and daddy? Hey, some of them women gonna do it if you don't keep them fingernails straight. You don't keep your fingernails and you don't keep that. You ain't seen it to the hair. Wait, hey, they gonna come in and put a whooping on you.
You talk about the enemy.
What's it? Because you still have no choice, though.
Yeah, my choice is a good choice, folks. If I'm marrying somebody cutting them mom and their daddy's throat and they talking about getting them in my house.
I think he had to give him bereavement time.
But that ain't, see, let's go down. Let's go down. See, y'all set all these standards and you got these things laid out there. If we just follow through on it out. But now we don't do anything else about we see on we see this one thing and that's it. But then still, that's what he said do. So you sure you want this woman? You sure you just ain't no. So, because cut their hair off, and then that short hair and stuff and all like that, and they get them nails, and then she ain't looking good, you know. And you know how women is, but hey, women don't feel good. I'm like, when they ain't got the hair and they ain't got it. But hey, the women, boy, they tough to handle, these, man.
Right. Like you say, read on. I think we get to it.
Real touchy.
Like you say.
But let's see. Does that still changes God's? Then he said, take off her war clothes, her prison clothes and stuff like that. So you just won't look at her and say, hey, she belongs to me. You know, that reminds you that she's no, you have to take that off and everything. So you won't just run on over your on attitude and mess up, you see. And don't uphold Israel's high standard of things. Read on, let's see what it says there.
Where she would shave her head, cut her fingernails, and remove her prison clothing. She would stay there in your house, mourning her father and mother for a full month.
Now, why she mourning her father and mother?
So she don't think about killing.
So she don't.
Think about killing.
So she don't catch you sleeping in your. You guys, all guys, and we got. Wake up dead.
That's right.
So that's why it gives her time to get that morning out and everything there and get those situations going on there. See, so that's still for our safety. That's still for our safety.
Then she might see this guy, he's showing me some kindness.
Yeah.
He let me mourn and stuff. But you got some of them that the same night they gonna take whatever they want to take. And ain't gonna give them time to mourn.
That's it. So God, all these things that God is doing at that it's to let us know that God had higher standards than those things there, than the world and the nations. Okay.
Brother Matthew, a guy like that now, he might need to sleep. Might not go to sleep.
One eye open, one eye closed.
Right.
I wouldn't go to sleep, me.
Or put her in a cage or something before you go to sleep.
And who wanna have a setup like that there forever, man? That you scared to go to sleep, you scared to relax and everything.
And then she got to
get halfway sleep.
That's right.
Who wants to get themselves in a situation like that? I know I don't. I tell you what, I told you, man, a woman started telling me she loved me so much that and she see her that she rather see me dead than hey, she did that loved me too much, that hey, I might have to start kind of sliding in the taste. Yeah.
I don't see where it says God said to do this. Where does it say God said this is what you do? Where does it say God said this?
Oh, so they just started with don't say.
I'm asking where's the scripture say.
It don't say that there.
Okay, so man came up with this.
Now look at the 9.
Now this is a man that heard from Adonai, and Adonai gave him the
Look at
instruction.
the 10. 10 says
But 9
No,
says,
10 says when you go out to
says,
war.
Adonai sees.
Moshe is telling them what to do. Moshe is giving them the law that he said that God gave him, and the things that Moshe is teaching them. When you go out to war, this is the standard that you're supposed to set forth.
So Moshe said.
Yes, Moshe said it.
he was a man.
That's right.
He was a man.
Well,
So
Yah gave him
I was right.
instructions.
The man
Yeah.
said.
No. I say he was Yah's man. That's what I was trying to
He was
say.
still a man.
It doesn't matter who said it. It's still the highest standard. It's still the highest standard.
But y'all gave Moshe that.
Right.
So I was right, a man said.
So I said, it was y'all that gave Moshe that.
Now, let's go on. It's irrelevant as to who or what.
Yeah, it do say that. But,
It says on verse 9 that Adonai told him that's what you do.
yeah. It says what Adonai sees as right.
Yeah.
So he was telling you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're going to go ahead and read on. We're going to read
That's
on.
number 9. That before you get to where you
Yeah,
are.
that's where you get to 10. Adonai told him that's what
You
they're
see
supposed to
what's
do.
right. Yeah, that's Adonai.
Okay. After which you may go in to have sexual relations with her and be her husband, and she will be your wife.
Be husband and wife. That's my point I'm getting. God, those standards were set for Israel to be different from the other nations. That's the point I want you to get.
Not great. That's right.
Not take her and then do whatever you want and rape her and do all those things. No! Husband and wife. Stay at the standard that he set forth and all that. That was the standard that he said. You're not. Last parasha, I left you with the point over this. God said, do not practice the ways of the nations because I hate and I don't like their ways.
Amen.
Now God is bringing them on down and pointing out to them some of the things that he don't like. Even in the fact that and those things that I still want you to maintain a higher standard.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Just because the enemy do those things don't mean that I want you, and I'm okay with you doing that.
Right. Amen.
So now Moshe is instructing us what he say y'all expect from us. He's the one that was teaching and saying that. When you go out, that's when he was teaching them. Just like you sat down, you tell your dogs, and you tell your what's called now. You tell when you go out now. Just like I told you, what our parents used to, the more folks used to tell us when we go to our neighbors.
Yeah. Don't shame me.
They tell you, hey, don't you shame me.
If they offer you some food, you better not eat.
They meant that. And if you didn't know what shame means, you better find, you better start asking them what that means.
You'll find out later if you do.
Because I guarantee you, your word didn't mean nothing. If Mr. So-and-so saying your boy come down here and they come down here and did so-and-so at the house there, it wasn't no like they do nowadays, these modern day people now do. They give the kid a chance to lie. They give the children a chance to lie.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So-and-so lying on me.
Yeah.
I did that one too. No, they gonna say.
Did you do what Mrs. So-and-so said you did? You just gave an opportunity to lie. And they're going to take it.
You do it every time.
But it wasn't no, did you do that? It was, why did you do it?
Right. That's right. That's right. Amen.
You was guilty. Hey, there wasn't no talking out of this in there. And the more you try to talk out of it and down there, the more you're going to get a whooping.
Lord have mercy. Boy, did you think they gonna lie on you?
Oh yeah. What no such thing as that time? You know?
Amen. Adults will respect it.
And then why in the world, if you don't believe in that, why you want to go down the back of that? You want to go to their house and stuff? You don't want to go down there. See, it didn't make no sense, you know. But hey, it's wrong. But now kids are doing something, then they go right back to the same people and they'll run around. Got one person all the time running to me, coming to me and just your folks steal my money and so and so. I said, well, why do you keep right back on them same folks?
They steal my money.
Yeah. Why you running with them same folks? Yeah. Dear folks, we got to step on up to the plate here and understand what God has said to those things here. God said those things there, and God gave them, had to wait a month. A month's a long time, dear folks. You got to make sure that this thing is on. You know, hey, if you got the ideas of a regular woman, you ain't gonna be waiting no month. Come on now, let's get it. You ain't gonna wait no month. And you got full access to her, you are not going to wait no month.
You say, you mine.
You might wait today. You're right. Read on.
14th verse says, in the event that you lose interest in her, You are to let her go wherever she wishes.
Now see them? Notice this here. She still don't keep that status as an attitude of being a rapist. God's standard. What did he say? What did it say?
But you may not sell her for money or treat her like a slave.
Okay, see, she's no longer. See, if you weren't raped and stuff, then she's just a slave anyway. Hey, you know, that's the way our people did. That's the way we was done over here. The master and everything there. Master would come in and ask him, you think it's all right and all that? No, he just get done what he wanted to do. Hey, you belong to him.
Well, that was a different condition.
Yeah. Well, right. That was a different condition.
And y'all say you were going to happen to you for your disobedience.
Exactly.
That's why we were punished that way. But that's not the same as this war thing.
Right. But what I'm saying is that but God said we are not to get woman and we're not to do that and have that attitude toward them. But these brothers standing on the corner, they can't wait till they get a chance to do that. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm dwelling so much on this here. Is because we're facing this same thing. They're hollering about they can't wait.
Well, maybe somebody needs to be on the other side of the corner preaching against them.
KKK.
Us. Putting them in. Somebody has to come out and say something to it.
I'm not getting down.
I'm not you saying. I'm saying somebody.
No. I'm saying you ain't gonna get no problem with them like that. All thing you do is teach them like what you're doing here, and you do those things. I want us to know what Torah says. You know, a lot of folks don't know those things. Yeah. And you can't get into their environment and went out against them. You know, you see it right there. They got that thing set all up in their mind, and if you try to do something like that there, you know, just like they told that lady, you know, she's and they talking all that stuff there, and he was saying that, hey, I can't wait till the time to see you. I can't do this today, but I'll take you out and give you a good whooping and everything. That's what he told them. See, I'll take you out and give you a good whooping and everything. Man. She said, what you gotta wait? You ain't gotta wait till a certain time. Come on now. She grabbed that cane up. she grabbed that cane up she had. She said, oh, you ain't gotta wait.
Come on, ladies.
Come on,
Come on with it.
Yeah. Bring it on. We can get it on now. We ain't gotta do no work.
But ain't that what Quante was saying that Friday night that the group in Dallas, they on the corner, and then you had the other group on the other side that you know, was talking against them.
Right.
Yeah.
He said, hey, I'm not going to hang around there. It might just break out in the fight.
Well, he said them ones in purple.
But dear folks, for us to understand Torah, that's why God put it in the Torah here for. That's why He had that's why He had Moshe to write these things down for us. Mm-hmm. That's why He spent that time to wrote those books. And put those books there for us to read and to understand those things there. Yah is not going to come down there personally and tell each one of us what to do and what to do and not. We got to learn, we got to believe the standard and the status that He set forth.
Amen. Amen.
And we do that. We do that. We are accustomed to believing whatever we read. See? Therefore, those are the standards. Those are the things that is set forth. Yes, Moshe was teaching us. Moshe taught us those. He said, I taught you for 40 years while I was done. I was teaching you. See? Israel had already proven they didn't want God teaching. And when I say God, I mean point blank telling God Himself teaching. They already said that they didn't want that. thought that Moshe was lying to them. They thought that Moshe wasn't doing that. You ain't that, y'all. You just doing that on your own. You just want to have control over us and all like that. We want to be free. We tired of the Egyptians and had us under their mind. We want to do our own thing, you know. Now, God can talk to us just like He talk to you and all that stuff. No, He can't.
You really be running so hard.
Right. First of all, everybody don't want to get in the right status, you know, for God to be able to do that. When God started telling them what they had to do, clean up themselves and all that there, and all that, and then all that, by the way, you know, stay away from your wives, you know, boy, oh man, they would have. Yet still, Yah said, told Moshe, I'm going to do this so they can believe, you know. So they believe you. When you tell them that it's not you that's doing it, even though I'm using you, but it's not you that's doing it.
It's Yah. Hallelujah.
He said, that's the first thing I'm going to do it for them. So they'll know that.
Amen. Amen.
They heard that voice roar out. And they know good well that Moshe couldn't do that to them. Y'all must have one of the megaphones or whatever it was. Hey, whatever it was that you want. And the voice roared out, boy, they took off.
They ran a long way.
2 miles.
2 miles.
And they finally got themselves down. They was 2 miles away.
That's fear right there. That's genuine fear.
Then he said, hey, I thought you said you wanted to, I thought you... Well, we don't want to do it no more. Moshe, you go ahead on and do it. We'll believe you. That's what they said.
So just tell them to talk to you when you tell us.
But Yah set standards and for them to do those things there, and He said, you are not to be like the other nations.
That's right.
Now, when it comes to how the other nations did things, yes, they did things a whole lot of difference. And yes, they raped the women. We go to the book of Deuteronomy 28 and the 30th verse.
You will get engaged to a woman, but another man will marry her. You will build a house, but not live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but not use its fruit. Your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes, but you won't eat any of its meat.
Now, when you go there and you read from the Tanakh and those things there, and probably from the books there, it actually says shagal, which means to actually to ravish or to rape. But that was part of the curses that God said the nation's going to do to you because you don't obey and follow me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And dear folks, that's exactly what happened here in America. When the master came over there and he decided, he didn't care nothing about you there and then, hey, he carried on in there and right funny and right on that. And, hey, you know what was going on and everything. And it didn't matter. And that's why I say, these Hebrew, as a guy called it, hobo Hebrew, but I ain't gonna call them that there, but they go around here hollering about blood, the blood, the blood, the blood, like they got 100% blood, and they should be the least ones to holler that. But they'll admit now that the white man did do all this stuff to us. Then what makes you think your blood is so pure?
Yep.
Hatred But we are peace and love. Anger, revenge, all these things is what they're operating on and working on. And y'all said don't be like the other nations.
Mm-hmm.
In the book of Zechariah, the 14th chapter of Zechariah, and the 2nd verse. We'll get ready to wrap this up for today.
For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem for war. The city will be taken, the houses will be raffled, the women will be raped, and half the city will go in exile.
They said what going to the women?
Raped.
They're gonna be raped.
They're going to be raped.
Yep.
But is it Israel that's doing the raping?
No.
Is it God had a higher standard for Israel than the nations?
Mm-hmm.
It's the nations that's going to be doing the rape.
It's the that's why God told us to don't follow the nations. Don't follow and do after the nation. Because I hate that. But that's what they're going to do. And these are the things that are going to take place. We bought it on our own selves. When the Mashiach was here, he said, "Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, I wanted to protect you. I didn't want you to have to go through all this stuff here that you got to go through." See, once a process gets started, then
Can't stop.
it's just like being in a car there or something, and somebody come up behind you, hit you, and then knock you to somebody else. Hey. Once that process gets going, boy, hey, you just boom, 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 hey. And therefore, he was telling, and so he says that the women are going to be ravished. Why? Because the world is going to make sure that they're going to have their thing. We talked about it just a little bit here. The nations got together in 1967, one of those things there, and they want Jerusalem to remain an international city. And guess what? That is in line with God. But they just got the perspective wrong. They got the perspective wrong. Jerusalem is going to be an international city. Meaning that it's going to rule all the other nations that's going to make it that. But right now, they got it reversed. They want the nations, all the nations, it to be an international city. That's what they call it now. So they can control and have say so about it.
I thought Trump was going to make America great again. He's going to be over. Not going to be over Israel, or Israel going to be over.
Well, we don't know what his peace plan is. That's why I was talking about it. We're all waiting on what his peace plan is going to be. But we know what the scripture had already told us was going to take place, so it can't be too much variance off of that.
Hallelujah.
Because the Bible is God's word is God's word, and that's the way it's going to happen.
It's the head of the news.
Yep.
Amen.
So, dear folks, we've got to get ourselves in line, and we got to understand those things there, and we got to teshuva and get in line with what God has said. Get the wrong attitude, get the wrong drawing of those things there, get the wrong, you got to get back in line. If you don't drifted off and get the wrong idea about something, hey, that's all they need to do. That's all the brothers need to do is teshuva. Get away from that anger. Get away from that revenge. I had one guy tell me, I was man, see, you want them to be able to do us all that way, and you don't want to get revenge, but I don't get my revenge from them. And I said, oh, so you want to step above?
We'll step in y'all's place.
Yeah.
Y'all said vengeance.
He said his vengeance is his.
Yep, when y'all get behind him. Ain't gonna work. Amen.
In closing, dear folks, for today, well, let's go there. Let's go to I want to read that there. Jeremiah 3. And we're going to start reading at the 12th verse there. This is what God has for his people, and this is the time that we're going for. Certainly, situations have come up, certain things have come from that cause us to be a certain way to do those things, but that still does not mean that God has not that standard in those things there. And this is what we've all got to find and understand and follow through what he has said, that it might be well with us. Jeremiah 3, 12 to 15.
Says, go and proclaim these words towards the north. Return, backsliding Israel, says Adonai. I will not frown on you, for I am merciful, says Adonai.
Now notice this. So I'm not saying that some of the folks, this is the part I want to get to. I'm not saying that some of the folks that the Israelites did not go and rape some of the women and do some of the things that they, but that was not God's standard. That's the point I want us to understand.
Okay.
That was not the expectation that God wanted for Israel. God wanted us to be above the nation. We are to be the head, the leader, not the tail, not the follow and do what all they doing. Can't be like that. Well, everybody doing it, and so we gonna follow him and do it too.
No.
I tell our women this stuff. I set the standard here for the branch rule. Now, whether they go out and do it or follow through that's a different thing altogether. But the standard here is not to that, though. The standard here for the women and for the men.
Amen. Amen.
Now, what standard am I talking about?
Dress code.
Married.
That's right.
Married, too.
Become a wife. Become a husband.
Yep.
Before you become a daddy or a mother.
Yep.
Amen. Well said. Well said.
Now, whether they good or not, that's a whole different subject altogether. But that ain't what dangerous. And the same thing with this here. This is the standard for all of Israel, but God did not set those standards. And that was not the standards that was set by even Moshe. If even just him came forth without him, but I believe that it came from God because of the fact that God was teaching him to do those things there and telling us about it. He set those high standards for us because we are his peculiar people. That's the one I want you to get. How are you going to be peculiar and special people if you're going to be doing everything everybody else do?
Set apart.
You don't meet the criteria.
That's right. Amen.
If you're going to do everything everybody else do, everything that's what they do, so we don't do that, then you're not different.
You'll meet God's wrath too.
That's why I tell folks when a lot of folks come in and say, well, we didn't do that. We did it so over there. Then I said, go back over there then. Because over here we special, we different.
Amen.
That's right.
Amen.
And we cannot be different letting down the standards
That's right.
to please people.
Amen.
Right.
Amen.
And that's not what he said it's going to be needed in these last days. He said, I will send them pastors that will teach them and feed them according to what?
His mind.
Yah's mind.
Yeah.
Now, however they get that mind, or however God do that to him, that's up to him. But he said he's going to send them pastors. Once again, men. He's going to send men. God have ordained through the foolishness of preaching, and that preaching is done by men.
That's right.
Amen.
To save the world. God chose that method. Now that's one thing they can do. I can tell them, take it up with him.
Amen.
If you think you're qualified enough to do it, take it up with him. Ask him why you choose that method and everything. And read that there. Finish reading it.
I will not bear a grudge forever. Only acknowledge your guilt that you have committed crimes against Adonai your God. that you were promiscuous with strangers under every green tree, and that you have not paid attention to my voice, says Adonai. Return, backsliding children, says Adonai, for I am your master. I will take you, one from a city, two from a family, and bring you to Zion.
Now I want just a little clarifying up here on this. He said you haven't listened hearken to my voice. A lot of those are idiomatic terms here, folks. God relates his voice to what he's talking about. That's just an idiomatic term, which means that his words, what he done said. God sent a prophet down there. That was a man.
Mm-hmm. Mouthpiece. You mean mouthpiece. You don't understand.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He sent Moshe down there to deliver the children of Israel. See? That's what they saw. They saw Moshe. But he said, I'm the one that went down there. I'm the one that brought him out. All these things are metaphors and all, but it still stays the same standard of things there. The standard does not change. He said, be glad that for Israel's sake, I won't stay angry with you forever.
Amen.
If you acknowledge that you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I tell my Hebrew Israelite brothers standing on the corner, all I said there, look, for God to go do those things there, you got to get yourself straight.
That's right. That's right.
You set up the hanging about the enemy that did to you and all that there, and that's what you full of and everything there. You need to be full of it. You messed up.
That's right. That's right.
And until you do those things there, ain't nothing you gonna do against the enemy anyway.
Right?
Let's go.
But get slaughtered. If y'all ain't in for it and ain't for it, then you're not gonna win. So he said, return on backsliding Israel. I'm married to you. See? If we just do those things there, Teshuvah, that's the greatest words, that's the glorious words that God has said for us. And we need to learn where we messed up and come short and to follow through. In closing for today, we need to return and get things right.
Amen.
That's the highest thing, highest order of things.
Amen. Amen.
By rightly dividing the word of Yah, not wrongly dividing it.
Amen. Amen.
See? And that's the problem. We read it and everything, we read what we want to read into it and those things, rather than the fact of really understanding and the whole contextual of everything that God has said and all those things there. Just like I said, some of the Hebrews like to read there and it says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. I told you that and reading there. And they'll walk around with all kind of idols and everything there. And they said, hey, look, I'm all right. He says, I should have no other gods before me. I don't have no other gods before him, but I can still have other gods, just as long as I don't have them before him.
Wrongly divided.
See? Wrongly divided. That's the example of wrongly divided.
Amen.
Right.
When you read all the other scriptures and all the other things, it quickly proves that that's a wrong dividing.
Amen.
This completes our PARASHA for this week here. We trust that y'all will bless you and keep you on that end there, and that y'all would have mercy upon us, and He choose and want us to have that mercy. And He have promised and told us that if we will teshuvah, He will gladly accept us.
Hallelujah.
See? But we got to know that we have messed up.
Amen.
See, and we're willing to change from that.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
If you're the stole, stop stealing. See? you drinking and doing those things, stop doing that. You got teaching the wrong stuff, stop teaching that. You cannot stay in that line of thinking and think you're going to be all right with it. Because those things are things that he hates and don't like. You got the wrong day, you got to change from that. Eating the wrong food, so you got to change from that.
Yeah.
And I know it's wrong and everything, but I'm still on doing it because I like it. And y'all ain't going to be no good to shoot. You're not going to be shooting to shoot. All right, dear folks. This, as our oath is, how shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget the Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her tongue. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem, above my chief joy. Psalm 137, verses 5 and 6. Shalom, shalom for now. And if God's will, we'll see you next Shabbat. All right. Well, I urge you now to go forth.